John 19:1. Tateun elaben ha Pilatos ton Iesun kai emastigosen. Right before this, the Jewish crowd has called out for Barabbas to be released to them and not Jesus. So then, Pilate took Jesus and scourged or whipped implied him. Now, obviously, it was not Pilate himself personally who took Jesus and scourged him, but instead he ordered that to happen, and those under him did his bidding. We use verbs in a causative sense like that similarly in English. Let's take a look at those two verbs. We have elaben. Hopefully you recognize that as coming from lambano. Lambano, you say, where did all these other letters go? Oh, well, this is the second aorist. You probably memorized, or you should have, elabon. Lambano means I receive or I take. Elabon is I took. And here it's the third person singular, so he took. And the person who took is ha Pilatos. Notice this is a very small detail, but notice in Greek, many times a proper name will have an article in front of that. We don't use articles in front of proper names in English unless someone is talking about a movie star or something like The Rock, right? So, but here, the Pilate, but we would just say in English, Pilate. Pilate took Jesus and scourged or whipped implied him. So this verb here, mastigao, meaning to scourge or to whip. And you can see when I wrote that out that this is one of these contract verbs, right? It's a verb where the last letter of the stem is an omicron, an alpha, or an epsilon. And whenever we have a tense formative added after that contract vowel, the contract vowel will just automatically lengthen. So we're not surprised that the omicron became an omega. In the form of the verse, we see an augment, we see a sigma, bam! That's going to be an aorist active indicative. It's, of course, a third-person singular ending to match, again, the third-person singular subject, Pilate. So just the verb by itself, we would translate he whipped or he scourged.